Skirious problems.
Right, Mika, what's your Skirious problem, mate?
Jamie, I've got about, or not personally me, but like skiing's got about 1 million Skirious problems right now. This is like the first time in probably ever that we're not doing like a proper podcast episode where you just talk shit, but there's just so much stuff happening. We need to discuss the news, mate. Flora Dolce is basically fucked her Olympic season.
Yeah, but also we had an episode with Campbell Wright last week, or this week, and he was just so good at talking that we didn't actually talk about any news, so it's like so much to discuss, actually. So yeah, Flora Dolce, that was a big one. Flora Dolce fucking up her ski career, and like, honestly, it sounds like she was quite close to fucking up her entire life, like, from what I heard is that they waited until they were sure that there was no damage to the her spinal cord before they went out with the info that she'd broken one of the, how do you call them, vertebra in her spine and her ankle. So she's fucked for 6 months. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. I feel a bit sorry for her, but also like, come on, like obviously everybody should do what they feel like doing, but paragliding in October of the Olympic season,
yeah,
she's not the first person to get hurt real bad doing paragliding, but I mean, yeah, obviously she's still a human and she wants to just live her life as well. So there's no judging on that side.
yeah. I think that's from what I know her a little bit, and I think she's just like, she just enjoys so much like being out and so on, and like I think if she had to stop paragliding or like stop being out in the mountains for skiing, she might just not enjoy skiing that much anymore. So it's like people, I read some of the comments on the news article, and people were like, "What the fuck are you doing in paragliding in October?" and like stuff like, you spending money from like resources from the French government for nothing. And it's just like, come on, like she is also allowed to have a life. And like,
and she also qualified for the team by being one of the best French skiers. And by not being a good skier or by being injured, she automatically is not going to be in the team. So it's like, it's kind of, it's her life, her decision. If she feels like it's worth it, then she should do it. I mean, I think we should be happy that she's not hurt worse or more badly than she is. So
I agree.
Also made big news. Helena Marie Fossholm quitting skiing.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what the fuck? I did not expect that. That's actually crazy. Like, I remember when she was like really young, when we first started seeing her on like training camps and so on. They were skiing in Sandefjell in Norway, and she was just skiing so well and so fast when she was like first year junior, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna be like an insanely good skier.
Yeah, I mean, she was.
Yeah, I mean, she probably still is, but it's crazy.
Honestly, probably if she just gets her head around whatever she needs to get her head around, and she just decides like, okay, maybe I should just like go back training now, she will probably still be fucking good this year.
Yeah, and she won Toppidesvecka, and she was
Blink.
she was like a tank on all these races. No, she didn't win Toppidesvecka actually, but she was on the podium. And yeah, she was just like so strong. So I kind of want to say it's almost a bit of a shame, but I think if she takes that decision now, it's because she really didn't want to continue, and I think you kind of have to respect that. And like, it's tough to see, especially she had like the Continental Cup spot for World Cup. So when you win the Continental Cup, she won the Scandinavian Cup, you get like a free pass basically to do the first World Cups of the season, so until Tour de Ski basically. So she could have she didn't have to race well in Baito to get selected. She would have been automatically selected to at least Ruka and Davos. Trondheim, I don't know, because it's with national quota, but she would have got to do these 2 races without even trying. So it's a bit nuts that she retired now.
It's one thing is like the loss of opportunity for her career, because I think she still would have probably been able to win quite a few races in her life. It's also a loss for Norwegian skiing in general, because like I quite like actually most of the girls on Norwegian national team. They're so nice and they're so humble. But like honestly, Helena Marie Fossholm was basically the only proper character on there. Oh, I mean Christine Fosnes is quite a character as well. But I think it's just team wise it's a bit of a loss as well.
Yeah, and she was like kind of like or she still is this kind of younger generation who like she's grown up with TikTok and so on, and she was like doing all sorts of crazy TikTok stuff and like kind of giving all that positive energy. So I think it is a bit of a loss for the Norwegian team, but that's life.
Yeah. That's life. Also, maybe we should just like address the elephant in the room and why we're actually tell the people why we're actually doing this podcast episode, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big decision being taken on Tuesday about Russian participation in the World Cups and Olympics. And mate, I think before we even start discussing this, we have to say that like both you and me, we don't even need to discuss it here. We're very much against the war and like against the way that Putin acts and is doing like politics in Western Europe are being horrifically affected by his decisions and his actions. But at the same time, we cannot hate all Russians, and I think we need to be able to debate about it. Like we've received some messages that people like really want us to take a stand against Russia, and we are taking the stand against Russia. We are really against the Russian government and against the war, but we are not against every single Russian that exists. It's like lots of these people are also victim of their own government.
Yes.
And I think we need to remember this, and we need to remember that like some of these people are like exactly the same as you and me. They just grew up with the wrong passport.
And I think some people also need to realize, especially people in Western Europe, that cross-country skiing is kind of a big deal in Russia, and cross-country skiers are quite well known in Russia. And to take a stance against your government in Russia, maybe people should just check in a bit on what happened to Dominic Navalny. So I actually think that some of these people just quite like to live, which obviously is in contrary because there's like a war going on in Ukraine where people die every day. But yeah, we shouldn't get too politically because both Jimmy and I do not have any fucking clue about politics whatsoever. So maybe we should just quit talking and stuff that we don't know so much about. But something we do know quite a bit about is skiing. We've known Russian skiers since forever. We've grown up with them racing on junior worlds, under 23 worlds. And I can say that some of those people have become quite close friends, actually. They've been training in Ramsau the past 2-3 weeks. So I've met a few of them, talked to a few of them, and honestly, it was just good seeing some of your friends again. Seeing Sergei Volkov, whom we've had the pleasure of having in the podcast. Then also seeing Savelia Korostelev, who I didn't know so well before, but honestly, the guy's so fucking nice. He's yeah, but he's just like you and me, Jimmy. He's just a fucking nice guy and likes to talk shit every now and then.
But he speaks English.
He speaks like perfectly fine English.
Oh, yeah?
It's actually he doesn't speak much worse English than you and I do.
Okay, crazy.
Yeah. Also, I didn't know, but do you know who speaks a bit of English as well? Alex Bolshinov.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, or he speaks a bit of it. I'm not sure he understood anything that I was saying to him so well, but he did speak a bit of English. But maybe before we talk more about people,
but Yeah.
ever since the FIS meetings to Zurich, where a decision on Russian athletes should have been taken, what's happened? Where are we now, and what can we expect of this vote? Jimmy, you're an athletes rep. You know more of this topic. Please tell us what you know.
Yeah, so there was this FIS council meeting in end of September, and they decided to postpone the decision about Russian participation in World Cup and Olympics. So now there's a next council meeting on next Tuesday, where they're supposedly going to take that decision. But from what I've heard, it's not been put on the agenda. So it's a bit unsure if it's going to come down to a vote, if it's going to come down to an executive decision from the FIS leaders.
John Elias.
I'm not exactly sure how it works, but basically we should be set on Tuesday. So in just a few days. So, yeah.
And this letter, Jamie, from the IOC, that's recommending to FIS to let neutral Russian athletes start in the World Cup so they can qualify for the Olympics. What are neutral athletes exactly?
Yeah, so neutral athlete is so the key conditions is there's no national symbols. So athletes can compete as neutral, so no Russian flag or anything. No team, so there'll be no like Russian team buses and stuff like that. They'll just be individual athletes. I'm not sure how that's going to work with waxing and so on. By the way, I guess that'll have to be defined. And of course, everybody needs to meet the anti-doping requirements. And yeah, any infringement of these rules, including support of the war, can lead to disqualification. And athletes must prove that they do not actively support the war in Ukraine and are not part of the military or any national security agencies.
So that kind of disqualifies like 95% of the whole Russian national team.
Probably, yeah.
Doesn't qualify a few though. There's a few that aren't in the army and that are definitely very anti-war and perhaps a bit anti-Putin that we know of.
But I think it's kind of like from what I heard, is so difficult to like prove from FIS who is actually like supporting the war or not, or who is part of the army or not, because it's not like it's official records like everywhere. Like, of course, there's a few like Bolshunov. I think he's been in some sort of military parade not that a few years ago, so he's probably out of the picture.
He's also a captain in Putin's personal military.
Yeah, so no way. And then of course, like Stepanova, she's out of the picture because she's been like very much pro-war since basically since she's been back in Russia.
Should we say two things to these people? I didn't know Bolshunov before, but like obviously Ramsau's small. We're training here, so you meet him on the roller ski track, and I'm also not gonna act like he doesn't exist. So I was talking to him, and he's like,
tell us actually how you started talking to him, because that's a funny story.
So I was skiing behind him, and I've seen him a few times around in Ramsau. It's like a bit weird, and like obviously I know who he is, and I was guessing that he knew who I was, and so I was skiing maybe 10 meters behind him, and so I was like, oh, I'll just break the ice and talk to him, see what he's up to. And so I was trying to catch up on him, and I see him look back at me, and then I see just how he starts to accelerate a bit, and I was like, oh well, I can accelerate too. And then 20 seconds later, he looks back again, accelerates again, and I'm like, oh yeah, so this is the game we're playing then. Okay, I can accelerate a bit as well. And so we did that game, like that cat and mouse game, like 3-4 times until he started just all out sprinting, and I was just sprinting with him. But that kind of broke the ice a little bit as well, because then afterwards he was hanging over his poles and I was laughing quite a bit. So we were talking a bit, just how he's doing, what his shape is like, and then he was just keep on telling, like, honestly, also for the people, most Russian athletes are actually very skeptical to this decision, and they don't think they will be racing neither World Cup nor Olympics. So Bolshinov kept on going on about this 1% chance. He said like, oh, it's 1% chance that we will race. And then like, I was sorry for the guy. I didn't know him before. He seems like a nice dude. But then I was like, okay, everything you just defined on neutral athletes. I was like, mate, the chances of you racing in World Cup or Olympics this year is basically 0.0%.
Yeah, exactly.
So that being said, then moving on to Veronika Stepanova, which is actually, for me personally, a bit of a sad story, because when I was a bit younger, when the whole situation was not like it is, I always got along great with her. I always thought she's quite nice. She's quite talkative. She's super good in English as well, which is not something that all the Russians are. But then, obviously the war started, and she took the pro-Putin and pro-war stance immediately.
From
She hasn't
from
left
what I've heard, she's, I don't know if I should say this on the podcast, but from what I've heard, she's just doing it for the money, to
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
to capitalize on the whole situation, which is fucking horrific. If you
Yeah,
ask
and
me.
also like she believes that Putin will win this war, and then after the war is being won, she'll have like a super good standing on the Kremlin, which is very odd. But I've heard it from multiple different people now.
Yeah, me
So,
too. Yeah, actually.
so I'm very sure that that is the case. But like, if you're as pro Putin as you are, and if you're as anti-Western as she is, maybe we should just not go into the same direction that she is doing, being very emotional and all about it, but just ask her very politely, Veronica, if it's so shit here, then please go back to where it's good. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's stopping you. I think what she doesn't get in this whole situation right now is Russia that tries to be a part of the West again. It's Russia that tries to take part in our races again. It's not us trying to take part in the Russian races. So act accordingly. And if you're
Yeah,
not
oh, it's
able to
just so
do that,
weird. It's just so weird. Like, she had kind of stopped saying these outrageous things, and now she's just. What did she say about? She said, "Oh, this decision about Russian participation is going to be taken by the same people that didn't give the Nobel Prize to Trump." Like, just mixing things up completely and just saying the most outrageous things.
and she's
Just
been going on I think
like,
on Telegram, she's been going on about Europe and basically saying that Europe's a bit shit. And then I saw her on the
yeah.
track, and like I said, I knew her from before. And I see her up on a glacier, and she's like, "Oh, Mika, I didn't recognize you on the roller skiing track yesterday." And I was just like, "Oh, whatever. Just like, don't be here if it's so shit here. Just go home." I respect so many, like, I'm gonna call it good Russians, like nice people that share the same values than you and I share, Jamie, and that are just nice people. And then you have her walking around here trying to get some kind of standing with Putin, and it just feels so wrong. I'm just like, fuck off, just don't be here. I'm not even
Yeah.
like, the thing is, you see Korostel, you see even Bolshinov, and you kind of want to talk to the people because you want to like find out who are they actually, and who are we talking to. But you see her, and I'm like, just please stay as far away as from me as possible.
Yeah. But I think the terrible thing, and I think that's also why we're having this podcast now, is because her voice is the only one being heard
Yes.
in the Western countries. Like, the other athletes, we don't know what they think, but I can tell you 100% they are not all the same. They don't have all the same opinion as Stepanova, and you do not hear their opinion because they cannot say it. It's as simple as that. And so I think it's important that we talk about it, and that we don't accept her narrative as being the only Russian one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you say, Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, mate, This is bad. This is a bad sign if we agree, mate. It's too politically correct podcast. But right, tell us a bit about the shape of the Russians. Then are they good? Do they look good? Do they look fast?
Do they look good? Do they look fast? So I'm not gonna lie. I do not think that Bolshinov is anywhere near the shape he was in 2022.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't massively matter since he's not going to race anyway. But still, like, I met him yesterday on the roller ski track, and I offered him to join my intervals today because honestly, I want to know how good they are as well. So, yeah, I want to see where their level is as well. But he was
Did you do intervals with
breathing
him then?
very hard. Nah, he pied off. He was send me a message. Oh yeah, I'm sick, or he was ill, or honestly, I think.
Ah, fuck, mate. That would have been insane for the vlog, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. But sadly, it didn't happen. So he didn't show up.
Fuck. DNS.
Yeah, but I think like from yesterday, even from easy skiing, he's breathing quite a bit. We weren't skiing super fast. Like usually some years ago when the Russians were here, they were always skiing like super fast on easy sessions and training super hard. I feel like they're going quite slow in training now.
Okay.
I've seen Savelli Korostelev doing I want to say double polling intervals. Not sure if he did classic or double polling. I think it was double polling. I mean, he looked good. Not gonna joke. He looked very good, very rock solid. I want to say, but
Yeah.
to go back on what Sergey said on the podcast a few weeks ago, that he would have been a contender for the 10K Classic World Championships in Trondheim. Nah, I don't think so. Honestly, when I see like we live in Lillehammer, we live quite close to Nyenget. When I see Nyenget do intervals, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is going really quick. And I did not get that feeling when I saw Savelier. So maybe he just like some people don't look fast but still ski quite fast. So it's always tough to say just from a session. But the initial feeling of being like, wow, this guy is insanely good. Nah, I did not have that feeling.
Hey, maybe you're just insanely good, mate. And then you just lower the standard. The standard's just lower for the other ones. So
Yeah, but I think if I'm not informed wrong, then I think he should be one of the
neutral
athletes
potential.
that would qualify as neutral athletes. So we'll wait until Tuesday, but maybe we'll see it in the winter how good he really is. But I want to say that the average level on the Russian team is, from what I can tell, from what I see, is lower than it was in 2022.
Crazy. Maybe we should maybe we should try to investigate and find out the potential names of neutral athletes before it's announced.
Yeah, we should actually.
I think that's going to be difficult. But
I think he would qualify. I think Sergey Volkov would also qualify. I think Daria Nepraeva would qualify. I don't think that Natalia would qualify. I'm quite sure she wouldn't. I don't think Terentev would qualify. Bolshinov definitely wouldn't qualify. Neither would Stepanova.
Yeah. What about Sorina and Stupak? Difficult to tell.
Difficult to tell. I'm unsure.
Right, we'll investigate, and we'll try to come up with a very unverified list.
Yeah,
if that would be
one thing. One thing on gossip I can say is, as some people read on longrun.com already today, the Finns are staying in the same hotel than the Russians are in Ramsau. So I obviously the Russians, they always stay in the same hotel in Ramsau when they're there. And so when the Finns came, I asked them, "Oh, where do you stay?" And they said, "Oh, this and that hotel." And so I was like, "Oh, so how's the vibes at dinner then?" And some of the Finns felt very awkward, some more than others. But I don't think they were so happy to have the Russians on the same tables.
Yeah.
as they were sitting. But
I mean, the Nordic countries have been very, very against Russians, like in general. But okay, tell you something that's interesting. People that are against and for. So we did like some surveys through in the spring rather, about who was for or against the Russian athletes going back to World Cup, and I think cross country skiing was the only sport that was still against in the phys disciplines, and all the other sports were pretty positive to having them back. So that's something to like think about. But I think that's
yeah,
to do with the influence of the Nordic countries in cross country skiing.
yes, and also with the influence of cross country skiing in Russia. So I think it's
Yeah,
vice versa. It's you take Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Russia, like it's 4 countries where cross-country skiing is maybe not number one sport in all of them, but it's definitely like a top 3, top 4 sport in all of those countries. And obviously, it's an emotional topic for them. They all do one thing that neither your country, Jimmy, nor my country does. They share borders with Russia,
yeah, that's true.
and I think it's a very different topic if you share borders with a country that just attacked a sovereign state
That's true.
a couple of years ago. So it also, yeah, makes sense that it hits
Yeah.
closer to home for them than it does for us.
Yeah, imagine Finland, they share a fucking massive border with Russia. That's true.
Talking about Finland, this is another interesting topic on a possible Russian comeback. Apparently, Russians are not allowed into Finland. How the
Yeah.
fuck are they going to race in Ruka then? That's what I was talking to the Finnish coach today, and we're having a bit of banter. And then he said, "Yeah, but the Russians aren't allowed into Finland anyway. So how would that work?
But
Maybe
that's
something
kind
to
of
look into."
what I also discussed with some of the FIS staff in the spring. It's that actually they find it difficult to imagine Russian skiers going to Finland or Norway. So basically, they have to qualify in period one, and they found it difficult to imagine Russians being allowed to go into Finland or Norway. So they would only have to qualify in Davos, because Switzerland would be most likely the only one country that would accept Russians to come in. But
And then also obviously the Tour de Ski, because that's where they could still qualify, I guess.
I'm not sure, because this is like they need to unlock a quota, and I'm still this is still unclear how that would work regarding the allocation of quotas. We should actually ask around to get an answer.
We should also do on Tuesday after the vote, do a wee podcast, maybe get somebody that has a lot of knowledge about the whole topic, and then
Yeah,
discuss the outcome, whether it's positive or negative. But anyway, it's yeah, a lot of stuff happening in the skiing world right now. It's the end of the day, Russian skiers have always been like key skiers on World Cup. They're always
yeah,
in the front, always making races exciting. So it is a big change if they would be back in
yeah,
skiing. So we'll stay on the topic. We'll look into it. Maybe also at the end, I want to take another stance. Anybody who shares our values, Jimmy, that thinks like you and I do, that thinks this war is horrific, that just wants to lead a peaceful life, whether you're Austrian, Norwegian, Finnish, Russian, or Ukrainian, just judging your personality or the person you are based on your passport, in my opinion, it's wrong. I think if you share our values, you should be welcome to dance with us, and that's regardless of the nationality. But that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people think differently. If you think like Veronica Stepanova does, you're not my friend. I don't want to have anything to do with you.
yeah. Fair enough. I think that's kind of actually quite similar to what the FIS president said in the press release. Similar to what you said, it's difficult when athletes are used as a political mean, but yeah, But anyway, this has been an interesting little update, and we'll definitely update again after this decision on Tuesday. Then,
Yes. Right, Jimmy.
yeah,
We'll
good chat, mate.
stay in touch. Good chat.
Yeah,
Ciao.
ciao, ciao. Like and subscribe.